Hello!
Hello.
Welcome to Gabbing It Up, the first live episode. If you didn't catch the update that we posted across our social media, we are now recording episodes live so y'all can be a part of the conversation. We want to answer your questions. We want to hear your comments. We want to hear your rebuttals that you've been graciously supplying us across social media already. We would like to implement that in our conversation. So, if you want to be a part of the show, you can join our highest tier on Patreon. I say highest tier, it's literally $5 a month.
hmm
And you can watch us record every episode live. I'm so excited for this.
Me too, but I just realized I forgot to give my squish.
Oh, we can get a squish. That's fine. So let's pop straight into personal
Personal
update.
updates.
What's been going on?
I was on spring break, and so I went home. I didn't really do much. I just kind of relaxed, so that was fun. I did host a readathon for my Patreon. That was a week long,
Slay.
and I did a 24-hour readathon, so
Oh
that
my
was
God.
fun. Yeah, and on spring break I got 10 tattoos.
10.
Yes, 10.
When I saw that on your story, I was going to freak out.
And
10
it only took 3 hours.
at the speed of light.
No, yeah, and she's like pretty expensive. And I was like, I don't know, but I really like her work. But she worked so fast that I was like, I feel like it's worth it.
No, yeah, she did really good. I love every single one that you posted.
Thank you. Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
Over on spring break too, I became obsessed. Well, this it started before spring break, but I became obsessed with this show called Girlfriends. Have you ever
Oh,
heard of it?
never have.
It's an early 2000s black comedy show. I don't really like comedy shows, but my boyfriend introduced me to the show because my mom didn't watch it when I was young. And it's literally following just four black women in Los Angeles and like their trials and tribulations and their love lives and marriages, breakups, job stuff, whatever. And there's 8 seasons and I watched them all within like 2 weeks.
Uh, 8 seasons.
The episodes
That's
are only 20
wild.
minutes.
Okay, so it's like Friends for black women.
Yes. And it's so
Slay.
much better.
And it's so much better. I mean,
Okay.
that's a low bar.
But there is like it follows four women, but the only other person in the intro besides the woman is this guy named William. And William is my favorite character. I love him. He is so funny and just like hilarious. And he's just so awkward and quirky and weird. Because all of the women, they got problems. Hella problems.
So it's giving like Sheldon pops in. You know
Kinda, but
Sheldon?
he's also like weirdly like really sexual and a lot of women want him.
Oh.
He makes a lot of like sexual jokes, but he's so awkward at the same time and nerdy. It's so
Sheldon
weird.
meets Barney Stinson
I don't know who that is.
from How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, I haven't seen that. But he also is a lawyer.
Uh,
He
this
does
man is
everything.
multifaceted. Yeah.
I love William. I love him. And I texted one of my
Well,
friends, Chris, and I was like, "You're my William."
oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, because he is.
Do you know what show I finished?
What? Yellow Jackets?
Yellow Jackets.
You
Yeah.
finished season 2 too?
Yes, I did.
I haven't finished it yet.
I won't spoil anything, obviously, but it was phenomenal. The last episode of season 2 was phenomenal. So we did that over our spring break. Well,
Mhm.
Cameron's spring break. I don't really have a spring break, but I just take time off during Cameron's
Yeah.
because we like to do things. And we went on vacation. Daijah, when I tell you vacations are healing,
They
I
are.
feel like a new woman. We went to Rosemary Beach in Florida. I did yoga every single morning. I just sat and read my little book on the beach. We just cooked in the house and talked with each other and drank wine. And it was like, why is this the best thing of my life? Like, it was so basic. I've never really had a vacation like that since childhood. Like, I feel like all my vacations in young adulthood have either been like rowdy trips with a friend group or like a bachelorette party or like touristy. You know what I mean? Like we're
Yeah.
getting up and we're going to the spots. But this was not that. This was just like we're going to a destination to chill. And Rosemary Beach was the perfect place to do that. So I feel reset. I feel healed. I'm so happy. And work this week has been so good because I just feel like refreshed. And the yoga, bro. Have you done yoga?
I've done Pilates.
Okay, same. So I have always been a Pilates girl. I feel like Pilates is more fast paced. I feel like it's more body oriented, like results oriented. But this yoga, something about it, I would just do yoga with Adrienne is the girl that I was
Mhm.
doing her classes. I would just pull it up on YouTube on my phone, go on our little balcony of our Airbnb and do her little class. I felt centered. Like sometimes Pilates feels like pressure. Like you gotta go, you gotta do the
Yeah.
moves. Hers was not like that. This yoga was centering. It was slow. It was with control. Like it felt closer to a therapeutic kind of
Mhm.
workout. But when I tell you I was sore the next day, every single day after, I was sore. It was insane. So now I'm like kind of a yoga girly. And I found out that Yoga with Adrienne, the girl that I was watching, teaches in Austin. So I want to go to one of her in person classes. I know, right?
That's so cool.
I love it. So I'm on my yoga journey. And my last personal update is fortunately or unfortunately another win for the lifestyle girlies. I feel like we've been giving them a lot the past few weeks.
We have.
Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton is
Oh, I saw.
literally amazing. It's amazing.
What is it about?
It's her memoir, but it's
Oh.
just like the way that the book is structured, which I have seen so many rave reviews of this book, but for some reason no one has ever explained like what it's like. The
Mhm.
way that it's structured is it opens up and she says, "This is the list of everything I know about love at the age of like 14." And then she'll tell some stories from like that period in her life, and then she'll pause and say like, now at 16 this is everything I know about love, and then at 18 this is everything I know about love, and it progresses up until she turns 30. So it's like the defining decade and a half of your adolescence and early adulthood that you can just see with every section of the book how her perceptions of relationship and self-love and friendship love shift. It was so powerful and so important just as like a mid 20s woman to feel seen. I don't know. I was just like immediately I got the hype.
Wow. That sounds really good, actually. I might pick
I
it
know,
up.
right? It was really good. I was so surprised. Like, I was fully prepared to hate it, as we will talk about later, I'm sure, because this episode is about book hype.
Mhm.
With this being such a hyped book, like, I go into hyped books thinking, I'm not gonna like it. I have to set my standards low because the way that people rave about it gets me so nervous.
Yeah.
But this one measured up.
That's really amazing. I do have 2 more personal updates.
Oh, give it to me.
Okay, the first one, I know neither of us are really sports girlies. I'm not a sports girly, you're not a sports girly.
Mm-mm.
But one thing about me, even though I low-key am starting to hate my school a little bit, I ride or die for our sports teams. When they win, I get really happy. And my school won the men's basketball national ACC tournament for the first time in 40 years since the
Daijah,
80s.
I knew this information. Are you
Because of
surprised?
Cameron?
Yes.
Not
First,
surprised.
Cameron told me, "Have you told Daijah congratulations?" No context. And I was like, "What are you on about? Like, what's happening?" Then he starts talking about the basketball shit, and I'm like, "Okay, yeah, whatever. We'll talk about it on the pod, I'm sure." Well, last night, I'm making dinner. Boy comes up behind me with his laptop and goes, "Will you make a bracket?" And I'm like, "Not a bracket." So I was coerced into making a March Madness bracket solely based on, because I have no sports knowledge,
None.
the school colors and the mascots. So I chose the blue Huskies to win it all because I thought that was the cutest combo. But the Wolf Pack, that's a badass mascot. It made it quite far in my bracket.
Stuffy? Yes. We love Mr. Wolf and Mrs. Wolf too. And
it's cool.
my last personal update is kind of bad. The bank today has been trying to play games with my money.
The bank?
The bank. Tell me why I went into my bank account this morning. It was in the negatives.
Uh,
I said, huh? And I was like, I'll talk about in the pop culture update because it's kind of a pop culture personal update at the same time. I made a large purchase. So I was like, oh. But then at the same time, I was like, no, like YouTube just paid me. Like something's not adding up. And so I call my mom and she's like, no, like I transferred money in there from my savings account. So I wasn't in the negatives. And it was like $200. If we did the math, it was supposed to be 900 something dollars, like $700 off. And so I called the bank and the lady was like, "Oh, like don't really look at that. Like that's just like cuz we were going off of like the you know how the current balance and the available balance, and how the available balance is everything, like the current balance with everything pending added to it or subtracted from it.
yes.
So
Yeah.
I took that and that's what I did is I took the current balance and added and subtracted all the pending stuff, and it still was supposed to be like 900 something dollars. And that's what I was trying to explain to her. And then somebody else pulled up another software and did the math, and they could not figure out why, like where the discrepancy was coming from. So then they had to put in a work order with IT, and they said they won't get back to me till 2 to 3 business days.
So in the interim, what? She's just broke.
Yeah.
You've been robbed.
Literally, the bank is trying to take my money.
That is crazy.
And imagine if I didn't math it up and I was just like, oh, well, it must just be like whatever. Like,
Scam.
imagine if I didn't. Yeah. The bank has been trying to play with
Sue
me.
the bank.
I need to, because there's no way. If they try to charge me overdraft fees, I'm not doing that. You're not charging me.
Contest it.
Yeah.
Go into Karen mode and contest it, because that's wild.
When your car was fucked with,
Mhm,
that's how
mhm.
I feel right now.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It was like I had my moment of being the victim. You're in your victim era.
Yeah. And I literally woke up and I was like, huh? And
No,
then
I know the feeling. The,
I
like,
was just
stomach drop feeling of, "Holy fuck, what happened?"
yeah, literally. And I was like, I'm really being tested this week. Like this is the week of testing daijah. I was like, they thought like the universe was like, daijah just had this spring break where she was able to relax. Now let's just drop everything on her at the same time.
Killer.
Yeah, literally.
Burner. Burner at the stake. Well, are we ready for Pop Culture Corner?
Yes.
Hee hee. If you're watching the video, you're seeing our cute little graphics scrolling across the bottom of the screen. I have quite a few pop culture updates. I've just been engaging with things. I don't know if it's just because it was spring break and we were on vacation, so I had time to just like view things and scroll things and listen to things, but I have a lot. So, first thing is related to you because you put a story and it was like these girls are diversifying their shelves but not their playlists. So you
Oh yeah.
inspired me to look into black artists because I don't really listen to that many black artists. Like I listen to Frank Ocean. Like he's really the only one that's on my daily rotation. But I was like, where are the indie girls? Like where are the indie black girls? Searching, diving down deep. Have you ever listened to, I'm gonna butcher her name and I apologize in advance, Rachel Chinariri?
No, I've never heard of her.
She slays. I feel like no one listens to her, but if you like Muna, if you like Renee Rapp, if you like Phoebe Bridgers, if you like all the indie girls that like everybody likes, you're gonna like Rachel. She's British, so she's kind of giving I would hate to compare a black woman to Maddie Healy. She is giving like the style of the 1975 with a little bit of Renee Rapp put in there because she's very much a storyteller.
Mhm.
I've been obsessed with her music. She just has singles out. Her album is dropping May 3rd. I'm gonna go
Okay.
feral. I'm like
Period.
her new biggest fan. She has a song called Never Need Me. If you like indie music out there, please listen to it. Stream Miss Rachel. Please, I love her.
See, and if I never posted that, you would have never have searched for her.
Right? So thank you for the inspiration.
You're
Uh,
welcome.
I love her. Next thing,
Mhm.
Quiet on Set.
I've heard, haven't watched.
Oh my god. I watched it all last night. It was crazy. Me and Cameron were like, let's just turn on the first episode because it's a docu-series.
Yeah.
And we were like, we'll just watch the one and like watch it slowly because obviously it's going to be like traumatic and intense. After the first episode, he went to bed. I could not look away. I watched every single episode in succession. It was heartbreaking. I literally sobbed through the end of episode 2, the entirety of episode 3, and the beginning of episode 4.
Yeah, I'm sure. I don't think I'm emotionally ready to watch it yet.
Yeah, if y'all don't know, Quiet on Set is the documentary about Nickelodeon and Dan Schneider and the sexual predators that were coincidentally, allegedly hired to work for Nickelodeon during the Dan Schneider era. And Drake Bell, you know, think about him what you will. He's committed his own crimes and has his own demons, but he told his story with such bravery and vulnerability, and I just have so much empathy for him. I could literally cry right now thinking about it because it was a lot. It was a lot. And I religiously watched Drake and Josh with my brother. Like every week we would sit down and watch Drake and Josh. We would say that we were Drake and Josh. I had the biggest crush on Drake Bell. Like he was one of my first crushes ever. When my brother did his like senior project, there was like a little section about me in it, and he played the Drake and Josh theme song in the background. Like we loved that show. And to know that this young boy was bringing so much joy to me and so many other people, so many other kids, and he was going through probably the worst thing that a person can go through. Like, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I really, really want to watch it. I'm just trying to emotionally prepare before I do.
Definitely do that. Yeah, but highly recommend it. My last pop culture thing has to do with a blogger, like Instagram girly. You
Oh,
know me and my obsession with the little aesthetic girly pops. This is not like a
yes.
lifestyle girly. She's like a fashion blogger, like
Mhm.
slay street style, like blah blah blah, all of that.
Mhm.
M. Rada, Emily Ratajkowski. You know her?
Mm-mm.
She probably has 3 million followers. I don't know, something like that. Uh, she just posts herself in like cute clothes, and she's like really skinny, and I think she does like modeling, but she also had this like aesthetic life with her little baby and her little husband, so like people are obsessed with her in that way. Well, her man, this perfect ideal family, cheated on her. Yeah,
I
that's
mean, I'm
old
not
news.
shocked.
No, yeah, that's the old news. This isn't even the update. So everyone was like, fuck him, obviously. She posted Instagram. She got her engagement ring like reconfigured into 2 separate rings, like reimagine them. And she just posted this slay set of photos with 2 rings on her finger saying divorce rings.
That's really epic.
That's iconic, right? So I
It
see
is.
that and I'm like, slay the boots, like reclaim this. You know, if you escape a situation with a horrible person who cheats on you, yeah, you know what? You should be able to keep those fucking diamonds because guess what? Legally, it's a gift. So she
Yes.
keep that gift and just reclaim it and get some use out of it. She doesn't need to pawn it. She can find new empowerment in that symbol. I thought it was a beautiful thing. Well, you can never just have a good time with your own thoughts because as soon as you click on the comments, it's just a shit show. Every single comment was negative. So shamey, so disgusting. I could not believe what I was reading. Grown women, like our age, like I would click on these people's profiles. Okay, I was in deep and see like a 25-year-old girl, like, this is not something to be proud of. The marriage, like the institution of marriage is precious. You should not be proud of trampling on it or like failing your failed marriage. As if it was her fault that her marriage fell apart when she was literally cheated on. She's just trying to find a shred of empowerment with her reclaimed rings.
Yeah.
Like, please get a life.
That's terrible. Like, I understand, like, to an extent, but at the same time, as you said, it literally wasn't her fault. And like, she's just trying to, see a little something positive. Just a
Right.
little something. And they can't even give her that.
They can't. And it was making me sick because honestly, like, she is a millionaire, whatever, she's fine. I was thinking about people like my friends and my clients, especially, who are caught in toxic marriages, scrolling through, reading these comments of just like the general public, basically sending the message to women that you should have stayed with a cheater. That would have been better than this shameful thing you're doing, being proud of yourself for leaving the person who hurt you. What kind of message is this sending? Also, the institution of marriage, what is it, 1904? Like, can we please get over that? It's a piece of fucking paper.
It literally is. Uh,
Like me and Cameron said when we got married, like everyone was telling us, oh, so much is going to change. You have no idea the way that things change when you get married. We looked at each other like a week or so after we were married and we were like, those people were fucking liars, or they had a lot of secrets in their relationship that just all of a sudden came to the surface when they got married because nothing changed for us.
Yeah, and I think that is because still I feel like a good portion of people don't even live together before they get married. Like my sister didn't. I was like, "Girl, I don't know how you did that." Like that's crazy to me, but
Mm-mm.
I don't know. It's just so crazy that they were shaming her like that.
There's just so much judgment for anything a woman does,
Does.
especially when it's within the context of being in a relationship with a man. It's like the woman is always, always, always in the wrong.
Always. Literally, no matter what's going on, she she'll like even with Risa Tisa, that's what people were saying.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they were saying that it was her fault for trusting him and moving in with him so quickly and this and that, when she was literally being manipulated by a pathological liar.
Like that is the thing. Like I question if those people understand the concept of psychological abuse. It reminds me of this part in Quiet on Set. I don't want to spoil any of it, but also like this is real life, so it's really not a spoiler, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But the guy who abused Drake Bell when he was 14 years old was like this big person in Hollywood. So when he was convicted of his crimes, he had a bunch of people in Hollywood, like huge famous actors, writing letters to be like character testimony on his behalf. And some of the letters didn't even insinuate. They literally said, I know this man. He's a good man. He would not have engaged in this abuse unless tempted. As if a
Tempted?
child could tempt someone to rape them.
They're a little child.
Uh huh.
Oh, no, that's
And
crazy.
now, years later, 20 years later, these famous actors and actresses are having to come out and apologize, as they fucking should, to poor little Drake Bell, who had to hear all of these massive celebrities basically blaming him for his own abuse in court. And it's
Wow.
like, James Marsden, you know, Prince Charming from Enchanted.
Oh, yeah.
He did that. Taran Killam from Saturday Night Live, he did that. So many people that I'm like, what is the world coming to?
Men can never just take responsibility.
It's that. It's really that.
Anything but giving the blame to the man.
Give it to the child, give it to the woman. They always want to push us off the raft. Oh, save the women and children off first so they can sit back and do whatever they do in their little power meetings. They push the women and children on the raft and they sit there and, I don't know, kiss.
Not kiss.
Oh, what else they're doing? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's the internalized homophobia. That's what I always assume that it is anyway.
Yeah. Okay. My pop culture updates. One of them, I actually have two, now that I think about it, but one of them I don't know that much about. So like I feel like it's weird to talk about, but I kind of want to bring it up because I
Okay.
feel like this is something I'm gonna go on a deep dive about. Have you seen
Ooh.
the Kate Middleton conspiracies and everybody worrying about her?
No.
There's been an upsoar of conspiracies about Kate Middleton because people are saying like I think it first kind of started with these pictures. There was family pictures taken with her, her husband, and their kids, and it's, like, obviously photoshopped, like and, like, Kate's hands are photoshopped, like, weirdly, like, things about her, like, her sweater and stuff have, like, a line, so people are, like, convinced that she was photoshopped in and wasn't actually in the pictures, and then she had, like, this weird surgery or something like that and, like, was gone, and people haven't really, like, seen her in a minute, so people are concerned about Kate.
I am concerned just hearing that. This
Yes,
is
because
giving like when Britney Spears had the weird Instagram videos.
yes, and, like, with everything that Harry and Meghan went through, they're like,
Mhm.
"What's going on with Kate?" And you know what they say about the royal family, how they just get rid of people.
Mm. Where's Kate? At the bottom of the Thames?
That's what I'm like, "Where's Kate? Is Kate okay?"
Somebody needs to check. Can we do a wellness check on Kate Middleton?
We need to, like, there needs to be some video evidence proof of her being alive and okay.
This is literally just like with Britney when she had to make that video on her Instagram story where she was like, "Hey guys, I promise I'm alive and well." But like she
Yeah,
very obviously was not.
there was a tweet. There was a tweet from Kate that was like, "Guys, I'm fine. It's just I was playing around with, like, photo editing or something."
I don't believe her.
Me either. I don't believe it either. But that's been crazy, and I feel like I'm gonna deep dive into that. I just haven't had the time. And
Oh
then my
yeah.
second pop culture update is that Megan the Stallion, Megan Pete, is going on tour. I think this is the first time that she's gone on tour in a minute. Like as long as I've been listening to her, she's not been on tour. And I thought, because I live in North Carolina and Charlotte is like the big city that everybody thinks of when they think of North Carolina. So I was like, oh my God, like she's gonna go to Charlotte. Like I'm gonna have to drive. Like I can't drive that far really, because driving over an hour makes me anxious. And Charlotte is like 2.5 hours, 3 hours away from me. But I was like, I'm gonna have to figure it out. I'm gonna have to whatever. She's coming to Raleigh, where I live. And I already bought my ticket to see her. I got a VIP ticket, so I'm on the floor, row 7, and I got an end seat too, so that if there's like tall people in front of me, I can like lean over and look. And since I got a VIP ticket, the one that I got, I get to go to the pre-show VIP room where they have appetizers and I get a free drink. And
Okay,
I get like a
appetizers.
lanyard. Yeah, I get a little like VIP lanyard. I think there's gonna be like a VIP backdrop and I get to take pictures with it.
I'm so excited for you because I know this was the same feeling that I felt when I was at Pitt for Arctic Monkeys. I
Like
just
this.
know, yeah, that the joy on your face, you're gonna live and die. And afterwards, you're gonna have the worst post concert depression of your whole life. So get your therapist ready.
I'm just so excited. Like her ass cheeks are gonna be so close to my face.
I can't.
They're
That is
iconic.
gonna
She needs to get them insured.
doesn't
They
Kim
have
have
to
her
be.
ass insured? Yeah.
I think so. She has to have it insured. Like, and I just like I'm so excited. Like, she's such a performer. She's, like, one of the artists that I feel like she performs.
Mhm.
And so I just know it's gonna be epic. Like,
Have you seen Dix the Musical yet?
no.
You've gotta at least just watch her sing. She's incredible.
She's an incredible woman. Like, I'm just like, I'm gonna be in her presence.
I'm gonna need full update. The week after that, the pod is gonna go crazy.
It is, like, that's all we're gonna talk about. It's just gonna be Megan Thee Stallion.
The Meg episode.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the episode where you educate me on all of her lore, and it's like a crash course.
Okay. There's a decent amount of lore.
Slay. Are we ready for Squish of the Week?
Yes, let me get
Go
something.
grab her. I'll intro mine while you grab your girl.
Okay.
My Squish of the Week is her. She's a purple walrus with a shiny heart. I don't know her name because I ripped off her tag, but she's the perfect size one where she's like cute and tiny.
Mhm.
And I love her. I got her at Five Below probably like a little over a year ago, and that's mine.
Okay, I'm actually introducing a non-squish to the squish of the week
Oh.
because it's an honorary squish to me. Because for my RA like team, they got us two stuffed animals. We got to name them and we're supposed to pass them off to different people every week. And
Oh.
someone gave it to me this week. And so this is them. It's a little raccoon. I forget its full name, but I know it's Cornelius. It's like Cornelius something 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 the third. It's like Junior
Oh.
the third too. It's literally like Cornelius Franklin Junior the third. I'm like,
That's
okay.
funny.
And the other one is a frog that has a really big frown, and its name is Swamp Ass.
That's such a college thing to do.
Yes, but I don't know if I'll ever get him again, so I wanted to introduce him because I love
Oh, yeah.
raccoons. They're like my favorite animals. So
Aw,
when I got him, I was like, okay, I feel special now.
that's so cute. I'm glad we all got to meet Mr. Franklin.
I no, his name's Cornelius.
Cornelius Franklin
I think it's
Jr.
Cornelius something Junior the third.
That's crazy. I can't keep track of him, but
Me
he's forever
either.
memorialized.
He is.
Lore time. Lore nuggets, my favorite segment that we have. What's your lore?
Okay, my lore, it's just a little tiny one. But if you know anything about me, I feel like if you're my friends, you know that I'm obsessed with garlic. I'm a garlic girl. I'll put garlic on literally anything. I fresh garlic is better, but I also buy the big tubs and I will run through a big tub by myself in like 2 months. Like I will put like 5 heaping spoonfuls into like everything I make. Like I just love garlic and I feel like I've always loved garlic and how I know that I've always loved garlic is because when I was a baby, my mom or dad was cooking and they dropped a piece of raw garlic on the floor and I picked it up and I ate it. I picked it up and I ate it.
Raw garlic like burns.
Yeah, and I was a baby and I picked it up and I ate it.
She said, "Yeah, that's mine."
Yeah,
And
I've
what?
always been a garlic lover and will forever be a garlic lover.
That's iconic of you.
Yeah,
My
if I was a
lore nugget.
oh,
You're good. Wait, what? If you were a
I was gonna say
vampire?
if I was a vampire, I would literally be killing myself. Like you know those people who will take Benadryl before they eat something that they're allergic to. Have you ever heard about that? Because
Yes,
my
Portland does that.
yeah, that would be me. I don't know what I would take, but it would have to be something. Like as a vampire, I'd have to figure it out, and I would still just eat the garlic.
I love the idea of you as a vampire slowly committing suicide by engaging with garlic.
Yeah, because I wouldn't be able to let it
That's so
go.
funny. That is so funny. My lore is not as funny, but it is something that has like a connection to childhood. I always like a childhood lore.
Yeah.
So I have never repeated an outfit in my life. I will wear like lounge sets repeatedly, but like a going out into the world outfit. I've never repeated an outfit ever. It started in middle school and it has persisted all the way through my adult life. I've waited for the day when I can repeat an outfit. It's not going to happen. Like, even if I love an outfit so much, part of me will just be like, no, you can't wear it again. Like, this is your one shot. And I really think that it's because of that one episode of Lizzie McGuire where Kate, the like bitch of the series, calls Lizzie out in the middle of the hallway and says, Lizzie McGuire is an outfit repeater. And that lived in my mind in fear of someone catching me repeating an outfit. Yeah. So I will rewear like my pieces of clothing. Like, it's not like I just own something and wear it one time, but I can't wear it in the same configuration. Like, we have to add a jacket, do it with a different pant, do it with a skirt, do it with like, you know, I'll have a skirt and I'll wear it with a crop top, and then I have to wear it with like a turtleneck, and then I have to add a leather jacket and tights. Like, I can't do the same configuration more than once. I don't know what it is. It's not OCD, because here's the fucking thing. As a mental health professional, I literally hate when people have something like that and they're like, oh, it's just OCD. I'm like, okay, but it's literally not. So it's not that. I literally think I've just pathologized the bit from Lizzie McGuire.
I don't know how you do it, because I stay repeating outfits. Like, I have my go-to outfits, and you know what I think it is? I think it's pants. Pants are very hard for me. Anything on the bottom is very hard for me because I'm short. So, like, pants, fun pants don't really come my height at all. So, like, I'm limited to pants, and then also with, like, skirts and stuff, they either look really long on me, or because my ass is so fat, my ass is out. Like, those are the 2 options.
I was actually just talking about this with my friend. She's not short like you, but she's shorter, but she's really curvy. And I was sending her pictures of fun pants because I literally went to the store. I went to Old Navy and I was like, I'm on a mission for fun pants, because Old Navy pants actually fit me well, which is rare. It's already hard enough as a woman to find good basic pants. A fun pant is just like asking a lot. So I was
Yeah.
sending her all of these pictures of different fun pant options, and she was like, the thing is, could never wear a fun pants.
No. Unless they're, like, a legging.
Yeah, the stretch of it all. But Old Navy, I don't know, something about it. She's different for me. I love her. Also, the sales are crazy.
Yeah.
They're having a spring sale right now. Let me just Old Navy ad. I mean, Old Navy sponsor us. But everything in the whole store was 50% off.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
really good. That's
And
really
then I
good.
stacked my rewards cash on top of it. I literally got 2 shirts for Cameron, 2 pairs of pants, and 2 skirts, all for $60.
That's a really good deal.
It was crazy.
That's how
I
much
couldn't
one
believe
pair of
it.
my pants costs. Because I have to
Yeah.
buy American Eagle. Like, that's it. It's American Eagle or nothing. The only thing, like, we know that I'm a big Shein shopper. I know the girls don't like Shein, but I'm a broke college student, so we're just gonna have to suck it up and live with it. The
Yeah.
only thing I'll buy there is, for bottom options, is long skirts that, like, go to my ankles, because even with those, I can, like, kinda bunch them a little bit and, like, it just looks like ruching, or dresses. That's it. Maybe a tight mini skirt every once in a while, but I can't buy actual pants.
I get that. You're too tiny.
Yeah, I don't know. My proportions, the general public doesn't agree.
I don't think the internet really knows until they get a chance to see you in person. I was astounded by your stature when I first saw you. I was like, you are a munchkin. Like, this is a munchkin.
No, yeah. Like, I can't reach anything. I be
That's so
fighting.
funny. Also, on the Shein thing, here's my fucking beef. People want to shit on Shein all day long. Oh, Temu, the shit that I catch for being sponsored by Temu. First of all, unless I get another clothing company offering me the bucks that Temu is offering me, I'm going to keep partnering with Temu. And y'all can sit there and be mad while I'm on vacation. That is fine with me. Y'all don't think that when you buy the shit on Amazon that takes 4 weeks to come to your door and it comes in the same plastic bag that the stuff from Temu comes in, you don't think it's made in the same factory? Y'all don't think the stuff from Shein comes from the same place that the stuff from Temu comes in the same place the Savage X Fenty stuff comes from the same place of Amazon? Like, if you get mad at Temu and you get mad at Shein, you also have to get mad at Amazon. I just can't
Yeah.
do the halfway bullshit. Like, either go
No.
hard and shop at Madewell or just throw in the towel and do your Amazon order.
And unless you're paying so much money, you're not gonna find something that's sustainable, ethical, none of that. Like, even
Yeah,
some fabrics are not ethical. So, like, no matter if the factory's ethical, the product is still not ethical because of the fabric. So, like,
right.
I think it's like polyester or something is not
Mhm.
ethical. I think there's like 2 fabrics that, like, no matter what, they're not
Right.
ethically sourced.
Yeah.
Oh, and a lot of things have it. So, like,
Yeah.
I
Right? Like, I would love to shop at Reformation. I'm not Emily Ratajkowski, okay? Like, I don't have that kind of money. I have enough money for, like, a couple pieces from Free People a year, and the rest of my wardrobe either gets sent for free or I rent it. So it's not like I'm even the queen of consumption. Like, I really don't purchase clothes. If it gets into my wardrobe, it's 80% chance it's either rented and it will only be here for a couple weeks, or it was sent to me for free.
I wish I could live that life because me and Shein, we have a quarterly little meeting.
A quarterly meeting. That's so funny.
Mhm. We do. That's what I call it, my quarterly Shein purchase.
Yeah. Oh, that was me in college. I used to do the Shein points where you like check in every day and you get on that streak and you get like 20 points a day at the end. Oh, I lived for that.
And then they banned you.
Yeah, they did. Over an
That's
accident.
that's just so tragic because I literally that's what I did. I just did my quarterly Shein because I'm going to a music festival in a couple weeks. I'll talk about it on the pod when it happens, but I'm going to a
Yeah.
festival, so I was like, I need new clothes.
Slay.
And you can't just go on there and buy like 2 things.
Oh no, it's not worth it.
You have to buy like
The
so much stuff.
haul.
Yes,
Yes. You can't just shop on Shein without getting a haul.
exactly.
All right, moving on to the actual topic of the day. We're going to be talking about book hype.
Mhm,
We have a few different points, a few different questions to get into, but just a kind of intro. My definition of hype around a book is when a book gets so promoted so much all across social media and is pushed so much in bookstores and book marketing platforms that majority of people in the book community and maybe even outside the book community are aware of it, and majority of those people that are aware of it enjoy it or have a good impression of it.
mhm,
However, there's a small subset of people that capitalize off of being the not like other girls girl who hates on the hyped book. And I think
mhm.
we should discuss that too.
Okay, yeah. I feel like the prime example of this that everybody knows is Fourth Wing. Everybody
Yes.
knows Fourth Wing.
Yes. Exactly. That is exactly where my brain went.
Literally Fourth Wing because girls that I went to high school with that don't even read were posting that they were reading Fourth Wing and they'd be like, "I read this in a day." Like
When
everybody knows
we were
Fourth
on the
Wing.
beach, oh my God. Every teenager on the beach had Fourth Wing. Every mom on the beach had Fourth Wing. Literally, I went down the line. I was just walking down the beach and was looking at what the girls were reading. Colleen Hoover, who's surprised?
Nobody.
Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, and Fourth Wing. It was those three. If it wasn't in one of those three, it was like she must be a book girly or she must be a grandma who just picked up like whatever was in the beach bookstore.
Yeah, I do love a hyped book, but
Me too.
also it can be a little dicey sometimes.
I agree. Let's first get into, is book hype always accurate? And when is it necessary?
Okay, for me, I don't think book hype is always accurate because I feel like when a book is hyped, it's because it applies to a mass amount of people. And I feel like I'm not like I'm not that I'm like a different girl or anything like that, but I feel like sometimes my taste doesn't always align with the masses. So
I agree.
I don't feel like it's always accurate. I think it's like a lot of people who don't usually read are promoting these books, and then it's just like a spiral of like people who don't really read are picking up these books, so they haven't really read a lot to compare it to, so they don't really know. But then also, like, I feel like this is how people get into reading, and
Yeah.
there is like a merit to it, but I don't think it's always accurate. And I think it is necessary because I think when hype books happen, they're very like addicting, they're very fast paced
Yeah.
usually. And so I feel like it is kind of necessary to help get people into reading. And I think it's also very necessary when like diverse books are coming out and to like amplify their voices. It doesn't happen as often
Yeah.
as the white audiences, but like Yellowface, that was the example that I
Yeah.
thought of. Yellowface was super hyped, and that's a book that has a lot of talk about race in it and appropriation. So I thought it was really good that that book was hyped.
Yes, I completely agree. I think just strictly for marketing purposes, sometimes hype is not only necessary, but it's just smart. It's just really
Yeah.
good marketing, especially if you have an author who needs to get out there more. Like, it might be necessary to create hype if a book release is going to be suppressed for some reason. Maybe that's because it's by an author of color or a queer author, or maybe it's because it's just being released around the same time as another hugely popular book or follow up to a series or something, where the marketing to hype something up is just smart. If it's indie published, if it's an indie release, hype is really valuable to indie
Mhm.
authors. So when you're sent an arc, like, as an arc receiver and reader, I do kind of take the responsibility of hyping things up when they deserve it. And I take that
Mhm.
responsibility very seriously of like, okay, if I hype this and create this like, oh my God, I'm so obsessed, go read it now feeling, I have to be genuine about it. Like, I can't do that to every single arc, but the things that deserve it, I'm gonna hype it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because that's why they provided me with the free advanced copy in the first place.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
even like taking marketing out of the equation, I think hype is appropriate when a book pops up that is so good that it feels like everyone could like it. It's essential reading and it's going to get people into reading. I love that. I
Mhm.
love when girlies tell their story. You know what I mean? You hear this a lot around like Taylor Jenkins Reid books. Is like, I
Mhm.
just read Seven Husbands and now I'm a reader. I love that. I think it's so sweet. So I feel like it's definitely appropriate, but it's definitely not always accurate because I don't
Yeah.
agree. And as we'll get into, we're going to list out some books that are worth the hype, some books that are not, and books that
Mhm.
deserve more hype. But before we get into that, do we want to talk about when the hype maybe becomes a problem?
Okay, I think it becomes a problem because if you think about the most popular hyped books, for the most part, they're all centering cis straight white experiences.
Yeah.
There's not like, okay, I mentioned Yellowface and like everybody loves R.F. Kuang, but like if you really think besides that, who do we have?
I was actually thinking of that. I was really trying to think. The only thing that came to mind is like Tiffany D. Jackson. Her
Yeah.
releases are always on everybody's list. She always does really well. Everyone is always giving her 5 stars. So, yay for her.
Yeah, and I was also thinking Talia Hibbert with the Brown sisters.
Yeah, that too.
But besides that, there's not much. There's
Mm-mm.
not much. So I feel like it gets really toxic because it's it's like a lot of the same thing over and over and over again, and like a
Mhm.
lot of the same tropes, a lot of the same ideas, a lot of the same concepts. And I feel like when something does get a lot of hype, not just from marketing, but like from actual readers and people picking the book up, and they are like cis, straight, white experiences, and they're the same popular tropes and ideas, I feel like it's much harder for then publishers to want to publish stories that detour from that and are more like
Yeah.
by queer authors, authors of color that have different magic systems and tropes and different things going on that aren't necessarily popular at the time.
Totally. I think when a book gets really hyped, it makes every author want to chase that feeling of like
Mhm.
experiencing the hype. So then every release feels so repetitive. Like I feel like this really happened in 2020, 2021 pandemic time around rom-coms. They all had the same tropes and so many were coming out every month, and it was insane. It was like nobody had a lane, nobody was niche and like really doing something creative. It just felt like the hype of the love hypothesis and books like that completely took over and really influenced the releases that were coming out. Everything felt so repetitive. And I think, sometimes the hype means that other books are going to be at an expense. Like it's going to be at the
Yeah.
expense of other books, kind of like you were saying.
Mhm. And I think also it kind of becomes complicated too. I've noticed specifically like with authors of color, I feel like a lot of times they have to like water down their books or like
Mm,
make it appeal to white audiences. And like a lot of times I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm being educated on stuff that I already know. Like I feel like black
right,
authors aren't always writing books for black audiences because publishers don't want to publish that. They want the
right.
trauma, they want this, they want the next hate you give. And
Yeah, yeah.
sometimes I don't want that. I just want to see people joyous. Like, what is going on? And like, people don't want that because it's not what's hyped up or what's popular right now. So publishers don't really publish that.
That's why I'm so excited for Bury Your Gaze, the new release this year from Chuck Tingle. I feel like the commentary is really going to be about that. Like just naming it Bury Your Gaze, like the trope of if a queer person gets represented, they're going to die. The same thing happens to the Black community. It's like there's not a Black centered story unless it's about oppression or about slavery. We've kind of gotten away from that, but like I feel like mid 2000s it was like every movie starring a famous Black actor was like they're a slave. Like why that? That was
Literally.
so long ago. Let's not spend time there. Let's spend time with the joy and success.
Yeah, I think it's important to have both, but like again, like the when I think about it, the only really popular black book is like The Hate You Give. I mean, there's some like Legend Born and stuff like that, but even then, I feel like they all have like this tone of oppression
Mhm.
and just like trauma, and I think those stories are necessary, but like black romances barely get hyped up, and those are about black joy. Like
Yeah.
besides Talia Hibbert.
I think maybe that's why Talia Hibbert's series was such a success. Because when you think about it, like, her whole backlist wasn't hyped like that.
Mm-mm.
It's just the Brown sisters, which the covers look like all the little animated covers of a regular ass, basic rom-com that you would see from some random author. I don't even know, the authors of, like, the that country series that's going off right now and something like Abby Jimenez or
Oh,
whatever.
Elsie Silver?
Yeah, 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 yeah. They look like that. So I can totally
Mhm.
see like the watered downness that you're talking about. And look at what happened when she did that. She
Yeah,
got picked up on the hype train.
and think about it too. I'm trying to remember if in the second book, if that's also an interracial romance. I can't remember. I can't remember if he's Hispanic or if he's black.
No, he's not black. I think he's like Arab.
So all of those books in that series are interracial. There's not one that's like a black woman with
Yeah.
a black man. There's like
Yeah.
no hyped romances with a black woman and a black man.
7 days in June. We have to hype her up more.
Literally 7 days in June.
I also got the new Tia Williams book. It's literally
I
sitting
read
over
it.
here. Did you like it?
I gave it 3.5. I know. If you have
I
to
also got the 7-year slip. I know that's not a Black romance, but I'm excited.
No, I love the 7-year slip so much. Honestly, those two both have magical realism in it, so prepare yourself. Both of them are magical realism elements.
You know I'm a magical realism girl.
Yes. And I feel like the new Taylor Williams, it was good, but the relationship wasn't the same. Like, I wasn't like, I'm obsessed. Like, I need them to be together. Like, I just didn't feel that. And I feel like it kind of made me sad.
Oh,
But I
well, now I'm
still liked
scared.
the vibes and the writing. The writing's so impeccable.
I'm so excited. I'm scared but excited.
Yeah.
My last point on the issue with hype is that for me personally, the major hype around some books made me a little bit jaded. Like I get so
Yes.
skeptical. It's like I can't trust y'all anymore because I've read one too many of the book talk darling books that has flopped the boots.
You know what it is too? I get jaded in the sense that a book can be 3 stars, but if it's hyped, I think about it negatively in my head.
Same. Oh my
Like
gosh,
it could
same.
be just a fine mid book. Like it wasn't bad, but as soon as I remember that it's hyped, I'm like, no, like I hate this book.
Same. Because it's like, why are we all overreacting like that?
Yeah, it makes me jaded. Yeah.
Mm. Well, do we want to get into books that are worth the hype?
Yes. I kind of went in on the book list.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do we just want to do like list style?
Sure. I was counting how
How
many
many do
books I
you
had.
have?
I have 6.
I have 6.
Okay, period.
Okay, you want to alternate? This will be
Sure.
cute.
What happens if we have the same ones?
That's cute. I think it's adorable. Then they'll know it's really worth the hype.
Yeah.
My first one is Beach Read by Emily Henry.
Okay. Interesting. That's an interesting choice.
What's your first one?
A Good Girl's Guide to Murder.
Yes, agree. My next one I already talked about, Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton.
My next one is Verity by Colleen Hoover. It's the only Colleen Hoover that I will go to bat for.
Ooh, I will too. We Were Liars by E. Lockhart,
Mhm.
my original favorite book of all time.
My next one is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Yes. Oh my god, yes. The Mindfuck series by
Okay,
S.T. Abbey.
yes. That one's hyped, but I feel like it's not as hyped. I was trying to pick books that are like hyped like everywhere. Like you see them booktube, you see them book talk, you see them bookstagram.
Ooh. Yeah, I
I was
guess that
trying
was like niche for the horror community.
I feel like it's really hyped on booktube, but not anywhere else.
Real. Well, y'all need to get with it if you haven't read the
Yeah.
Mindfuck series.
My next one is The House in the Cerulean Sea. I know TJ Klune, a little problematic just like Colleen, but I'm saying what I have to say.
We're getting into problematic area because my next one is Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas.
Please don't cancel us. We're just saying our opinions.
We're
That's
just
my
girls.
opinion. I literally actually got a shirt from Shein that says I'm literally just a girl.
That's adorable.
Yeah. My next one is The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I'm sorry. That book pulled me straight out of a slump.
My last one is all encompassing Taylor Jenkins Reid entire backlist.
I've only read The Seven Husbands, but I own a couple, so I need to pick them up.
Every single one of her books is a 4
Oh wait,
or 5-star read.
no, I have read what's it called? Daisy Jones and the Six.
Yeah.
I like that one, but
Oh my god.
it
I love
wasn't
it.
Seven Husbands level for me.
I
My
loved
last
it.
one is Punk 57.
I agree.
I love Punk
Slay.
57.
Now, what about popular books that are not worth the hype?
My first one is The Silent Patient.
Okay, that hurt a little because I disagree. But
Mine is The
mine is
Silent
Love on the
Patient.
Brain by Allie
Okay.
Hazelwood.
My
I'm an
next.
Allie Hazelwood hater.
I've only read The Love Hypothesis, and I thought it was good, but it wasn't, like, blow me out the water.
I loved that one, but all the rest get fucked.
My next one is the only Emily Henry that I read, People We Meet on Vacation.
Okay, yeah, I agree. Notes on an Execution by Danya
Okay.
Kafka.
I liked that one, but I could see what you're saying.
The hype was so unreal. I mean, I feel like if I would have just picked it up, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. I had that jaded feeling with my rating, like you were talking about, because the way the girls were talking about it, I thought it was going to be the next best thing since sliced bread, and she just wasn't.
Do you ever just have those things where you just remember exactly where you were when you were reading a book? Because that's me
Yes.
with Notes on an Execution. I remember I was at work with it in my AirPods when I wasn't supposed to be doing, unloading the hot ass dishwasher. Like,
I
why is it in
remember
my head?
I have a visceral feeling. I actually remember what candle I was burning. I was burning a twisted peppermint candle laid up in our temporary unit when our apartment wasn't ready amongst all the boxes when I had the books stacked up on my wall.
Uh-huh.
And I was laid in the little tiny bed squished in the corner reading that book thinking, when the fuck is this going to be over?
Okay, my next one is The Guest List.
Yeah. My next one is anything by Christina Lauren.
Ooh, tea. I like The Unhoneymooners, but I also read that. That was one of the first romances I read.
The Unhoneymooners, I think that was my first one-star book I ever rated on Goodreads.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Mm,
My next one, I don't know if you've heard of it, but I feel like it was really hyped in the romance community. It's called Flock by Kate Stewart.
never read it.
Flock by Kate Stewart. I was just like, there's no plot. Like nothing is going
Ooh.
on.
My next one, okay, I will say that I liked this book, but I don't think it measures up to the hype. And that
Okay.
is Untamed by Glennon Doyle.
I've never heard of that.
Yes, you certainly have. It is like a swirly rainbow cover. It's a memoir by this woman named Glennon Doyle. Everyone lives and dies by it. It has like a companion journal that goes along with it. I think she makes good points. I think it's a fine book, but she speaks on mental health and she's not a mental health professional. And I think there are some very problematic things in that book that no one talks about. I could literally have a whole episode on Untamed and why it like does that thing. Okay, this is kind of funny. You know, when a conservative person is being interviewed and they're being so crazy that like they almost talk themselves around in a circle to like being liberal?
Yes.
Yeah. So Miss Glennon Doyle does that in her memoir where she is talking about women being shamed and like women not being able to do anything right so much that she's condemning women doing things that she talks herself into a circle and starts shaming women for doing things that are quote unquote contributing to shaming women. Like what gets me is she was like, my life totally changed when I stopped fake tanning and dyeing my hair and getting Botox and poisoning myself with these things that are just meant to shame women and keep us in this box. It's like,
Oh,
but you saying that now is shaming every woman who just like maybe wants to feel cute on vacation so she gets a spray tan.
yes.
It's that kind of a vibe. So I
Okay.
do think it's a good book, but the unbridled love is like, can we please have some critical thought?
Yeah. My next one is A House at the Bottom of the Lake by Josh Mallerman.
I love that book.
Teenagers were just fucking, bruh. I don't want to read that.
I don't know. I don't know. Cancel me. I liked it. My next one is gonna be Shots Fired, and that is Anything by Aaron Beauregard. Do not listen to Book Talk. They lie to you. It's not good. It's all for shock. It's all for money. All that man cares about is a dollar.
Real. I have one more left. And my
Me
last
too.
one is Mexican Gothic.
Ooh, I haven't read that. My last one is Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. Sorry.
Shook. I'm shook.
Sorry. And we're going to end on a very positive note, talking about the books that we think don't have enough hype. What are the books that deserve a little bit more?
So I decided to take a choice, and I chose only books by authors of color.
Slay. Give it to me.
My first one is 7 Days in June. She's
Yes.
hyped, but she needs
I
more
think
hype.
I think I also had that on my list, but I'll just not mention it since you already did and jump to my next one, which is Una Out of Order by Margarita Montemore. Oh my god. That book literally had me sobbing, changed my life. I think about it every other day, and nobody talks about it.
Yeah, I feel like people used to talk about that one, but not so much
She had a
anymore.
moment, and then
Mhm.
everyone forgot about her.
Yeah. My next one is Black Girl Unlimited by Echo Brown. If you
I
wanna
bought that
know
because of you.
Yes, if you wanna know Black women's experiences and Black girls' experiences, that's the book.
Slay. Mine is Girl in 6E by A.R. Torre.
Mhm.
Every single person that has given airtime to that book gives it 1 or 2 stars. And I'm gonna need the girlies who gave it 5 stars to really come full force and hype it.
Yeah. My next one is Fledgling by Octavia E. Butler because
I
it's
read
literally
that.
a Black vampire book. It's a little bit more sci-fi-y.
Mm.
It has a little bit, like, sci-fi, like, genetic, like,
Mm.
manipulation to it, but I really liked it.
I'm scared, but I'll try it. My next one is Anything by Rachel Harrison, literally any
Yes.
book.
Yes, I would've put that on my list, but I was like, "I'm going hard with just authors of color."
Slay.
My next one is Jackal by Erin E. Adams.
Agree. Agree.
Jackal!
Jackal. She pissed me off at the end, but the first 95% was amazing. My next one is Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen.
Yeah, I haven't read that.
Nobody
Never
talks
read it.
about it. It's one of my best books of the year. Nobody knows about her.
Yeah, my next one is Anything by Mimi Grace. She writes romance, and her
Oh.
romances are really good. If you watched my best books of the year, I put What a Match on there, and that's by her.
My next one is The Perfect Ruin by Shanora Williams.
Yes, that
The
one's a good one.
girl. The girls who are looking for a rich people drama thriller, she's the girl. Like, that is the one.
Mhm. My next one is Goal by Alexandria House because it's a Black hockey romance. When does that ever exist?
We were so desperate. We read, what was that book? The Big Score?
The big score.
We read this shitty book on my sprints, y'all. The Big Score. Because we were just desperate for a Black hockey romance.
And then Alexandria House delivered with Goal. It's so good.
She was just lurking on our live stream that day.
Probably.
My last one, I'm sure y'all have heard me talk about a million times. One Bloody Thing After Another by Joey Como captures the bisexual experience in adolescence.
I read that one and it was just okay for me.
Maybe it was just my
But you
adolescent
just related
bisexual
to
experience.
her.
I did because she was so mad she would explode into flames. I said, that's me.
No, that's real though. But I think that book just confused me. I was like, what's going on?
I loved it. I love every second of it.
I actually have 4 more.
Go off.
My next one is Cirque Berserk by Jessica Guess.
Yeah, I almost put that on mine.
I love Cirque Berserk if you're looking for a slasher. Then I have Goddess of Filth by V. Castro. That's what I wanted my best friend's exorcism to be. Like,
Really?
Goddess of Filth is better to me than my best friend's exorcism. I said
I
what I
only give
said.
that one 3 stars. I could not get into it.
No, I loved Goddess of Filth. And then I have A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches if you're looking for a cozy fantasy witchy book. And my last one is Not So Perfect Strangers by Ella Stratton.
I literally, I had that written down and I was like, Daijah's gonna mention it. So I took it.
Yeah.
Well, I hope y'all enjoyed some book recs, like what we're known for on the internet. on the
Mhm.
pod. Let us know if you like this style. We can do more niche book recommendation episodes. I think that'd be fun because we
Mhm.
love to gab it up, but we love to gab it up about books. That's how we began. So,
Yes.
any final thoughts on book hype?
My final thoughts are support Black and authors of color and queer authors. Just support them.
That that part. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, you can subscribe to us on Patreon and see our lovely faces if you'd like to watch the video version. And you can now watch us record live and ask us questions in the chat, respond, have a little debate with us, and you will appear on the final version of the pod.
Mhm.
So we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.